If you're sitting at a desk right now wondering whether the next desktop you buy will actually make your workday smoother or just sit there gathering dust while you keep juggling a slow laptop and a clunky old tower, you're not alone. Most of us want something that just works, that can handle the spreadsheets, the video calls, the occasional rendering task, and still feel light on the electricity bill. The fear is always the same. Spend a few $100 on a machine that looks great on paper, only to discover it's a hassle to upgrade, or that it chokes on the next big software update. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That hesitation is exactly why I spent a couple of evenings watching a few unboxing videos, digging through the HP support pages, and reading the handful of forum threads where small business owners talk about their day-to-day experience with the Pro Tower line. What emerged wasn't a love letter to a spec sheet, but a picture of how the HP Pro Tower 290G9 actually fits into a typical office setup and where it might trip you up. First off, who should even consider this machine? If you run a solo consultancy, a design studio, or a small IT shop that needs a workhorse capable of compiling code, running multiple virtual machines, or editing 4K footage without freezing, the Core i9-12900K at the heart of this tower gives you a genuine performance buffer. The processor's hybrid architecture mixing performance cores with efficiency cores means that heavy tasks get the raw power they need while background services, like email syncing or cloud backups, stay quiet. Pair that with the 1TB PCIe SSD, and you'll notice the difference the moment you launch a big Photoshop file or spin up a development environment. There's almost no waiting for the OS to catch up. If you're the type of user who mainly checks email, writes documents, and hops on Zoom a few times a day, you're probably paying for more horsepower than you'll ever tap. The same goes for anyone whose office already runs on a solid mid-range PC and is happy with it. In those cases, the extra cost of an i9 and the associated cooling system might feel like overkill, especially when you could redirect that budget toward a dual-monitor setup or a better ergonomic chair. Now, let's talk about the real-world setup. Unboxing the Pro Tower feels almost ceremonial. HP's branding, a nicely padded box, and all the accessories: keyboard, mouse, and a quick start guide tucked neatly inside. The tower itself is a conventional rectangular chassis, which makes it easy to slide under a desk or push onto a rolling cart. Inside, the motherboard is positioned for straightforward upgrades. The RAM slots are accessible from the side, and the SSD sits on a dedicated M.2 slot that doesn't require a screwdriver to secure. If you ever need to boost RAM from the 16 GB that ships with it up to 64 GB, you can do it without taking the whole machine apart. Just open the side panel, pop in the new sticks, and you're good to go. One subtle trade-off I noticed while watching a few owners reinstall Windows after a hardware change is that the tower's cooling solution is a single 120mm fan paired with a heat pipe. It does the job for most workloads, but if you're consistently pushing the i9 to its turbo boost for long rendering sessions, the fan can become audible after about 15 minutes. It's not a screaming scream, more of a steady hum that you'll hear if you have a quiet office environment. For many, that's an acceptable compromise for the performance you're getting, but if you need whisper-quiet operation, say, in a shared co-working space, it might be worth considering an aftermarket cooler. Connectivity is another area where the Pro Tower makes a practical impression. The front panel has a USB-C port that can handle both data transfer and video output, which is handy if you ever need to dock a laptop for a quick side-by-side session. The rear boasts HDMI and VGA ports, meaning you can hook up a modern 4K monitor while still supporting an older projector for client presentations. That dual output flexibility saved a small marketing firm I know a lot of time. They could run a high-resolution design monitor on the left and project a slideshow on the right without needing a separate adapter box. Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2 are built-in, so you won't have to buy a separate dongle if your office network is already on the newer standard. The built-in Wi-Fi performs reliably across a typical floor plan, though I did notice a slight dip in signal strength when the tower was placed inside a metal filing cabinet. Nothing unexpected, but worth noting if you have tight spaces. The Bluetooth connection is solid for keyboards, mice, and even a couple of wireless headphones, which means you can keep your desk a little cleaner. From a software standpoint, Windows 11 Pro arrives pre-installed, which is a small but useful time saver for businesses that need the additional management tools and BitLocker encryption. The OS boots up in under 10 seconds.